they started was a little bit crazy for me. They were sold in India, Pakistan, Singapore, China, Korea. The Arch Motel project was named after my parents' first entrepreneurial step and my first home. This project, which I did with my friend Mark, documents independent Gujarati motels in America. This small community came over to the US in the 40s, and within one generation own around 50% of every motel and hotel in America. Capturing juxtapositions of Indian and American culture as well as identity. In this photo you see a Hindu shrine under the front desk, out of the view from the customer, but right above is the crucifix to assure the customer that everything was going to be all right. 10 photos are part of that exhibition at the Smithsonian. Okay, so that was all a setup to give you a better idea of my perspective on yoga and my piece that I'm installing at the end of the month here at the Asian Art Museum called #White People Doing Yoga. The hashtag symbolizes the commercialization and commodification of a culture. This piece is a reflection of my personal relationship as an Indian American with yoga and its migration to today's Western context. Not too long before moving to the Bay Area 7 years ago, I began to collect grassroots level meditation and yoga ephemera from the 60s to the 80s. During the era, particularly in the Bay Area, yoga started making a big impact on Western culture. I became interested in how yogic practice was being mined and commercialized, how the South Asian face of the discipline was being removed in the branding and the portrayal of the practice and the culture. Today, an online search for yoga mainly returns images of white people in various poses, followed by images of dogs and cats doing the same. This product is not about the individual pieces in my collection, but the overall voice that is put out in front of us, which is overwhelming and suffocating to me. After you go through the exhibition, you will notice a sharp turn as yoga enters a new level of commercialization in the West. The $27 billion yoga industry in the US has rebranded a complex and rich discipline to make it easier to sell yoga as a line of products. Brands like Lululemon and Nike have started appropriating and trademarking phrases, postures, and clothing, aligning and embedding themselves in our understanding of yoga. Simultaneously, the South Asian face and voices are relegated to an exotic character. Cartoons, adaptations of South Asian names by Westerners, mystical creatures, and Hindu gods. One archival study of the health and wellness magazine, Yoga Journal, found that over the course of 2 years, there was never a South Asian person on the cover, and less than 1% of the content contributors were South Asian. I'll let you guys take that in. The act of selectivity, choosing what works in popular Western contexts, while ignoring aspects of yoga core philosophy, historic practice, is telling. It shows an ironic attachment of one's ego to a desire for ownership over an ancient practice of material denouncement that emerges from an altogether different South Asian tradition. In the end, I feel very compelled to draw parallels between the current state of yoga and the industrial colonization by the same dominant voice that now adds another conquest to its collection. Meet the new founders of yoga. For the last side, I'll leave you with the king himself.